Hello, everybody, and welcome to Does It Resonate with You? I'm Angie,
And I'm John.
and John's going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. All right. So today we're talking Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're going to talk about luck. So here's some things that are luck related. We've got Lucky Charms. Not those kind, the other kind. Um, let's see. The four-leaf clover, the rabbit's foot, the luck of the draw, the luck of the Irish, my lucky number, your lucky number, whose unlucky number, and then that old phrase, if it didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
and don't forget the luck of the Irish.
Did I say that one? Yeah, I did. I was in there.
I don't think so, but
Luck of the Irish, yes.
that's all right. It can't hurt to repeat it, right?
Right.
I mean, it is St. Patty's Day after all. St. Patrick's Day.
Right. To be
after
officially
all.
correct.
So that's and I did a little looking into, I guess I didn't write it in my notes, but I did a little looking into because I remember sort of hearing that St. Patrick's Day was bigger here than it is in Ireland. But I think that
might
that's
be.
sort of shifted a little bit because I was reading that it's a pretty big deal now, like in Dublin and probably those places because famously, as much time as I spent working in restaurants and bars, St. Patrick's Day is very famously known as one of the many amateur nights that we have
Right. I was just going to say that.
in this country.
Yep.
So, as a seasoned professional myself, you would never find me out, partying on St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve. Those are for staying home when and
Right.
let all the knuckleheads have those nights to themselves.
I remember trying to get into a place. Oh, I don't know, it was like 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, and we had forgotten that it was St. Patrick's Day, and we're going out to eat on a Friday, and we're like, what is with every restaurant? There's like lines out the door around the corner. We're like, forget it. So I think we did takeout or something, but
yeah, you probably didn't have a whole lot of choice.
nope.
And then of course we have, here in Chicago, I never actually seen it because I rarely go into the city. Just don't see a reason to. But they dye the Green River green every year on St. Patrick's Day. That river is already green from algae and gunk, right? But they dye it green.
And it's bright green. I've seen it a number of times.
Yeah, it's
so the hotel I used to stay in a lot in Chicago was right over top of the river, and we actually saw the boats going down up the river, dropping those green pellet paint or dyes.
Yeah, whatever the little bubbles or whatever.
It's quite impressive.
It is. I guess if it wasn't Chicago, I'd be more impressed with it. Like, I mean, it's.
So you're from there. We're tourists going like,
right,
big city, Chicago.
Right, and I will admit that when I do actually it's not fun to drive there.
No,
it's not fun to travel there.
I got great stories about trying to get across Chicago to make a deadline.
Oh yeah, good luck with that, right? And I will say, famously, Chicago's got a pretty heavy Irish population. So, there's that. But then there was also the whole, like if I worked on St. Patrick's Day, which was never very much fun. Well, it was fun sometimes, but that whole dye the beer green thing, like gross.
Right. Yeah.
That's just gross. Like, I won't even eat red velvet cake because of all that food coloring. Like, I don't want to.
It's not good for you. It can't be good for you.
I know, right? It just seems like, and then, yeah, that's it. I'm leaving the rest of that alone. Let's move on from that one because there's too many places we can go on that one. That
I want to talk about charms.
Yeah, do you have a lucky charm? Like, do you have something that you carry that's lucky?
Kind of, sorta. It's this. This is
okay.
This is a a Chinese prayer bracelet, and I wear it every day, and I've worn it for several years, and I don't think I've missed a day. But it's, for me, it's lucky because it reminds me to have gratitude, to say thank you to the universe.
Ah,
And so for me, that when I see it, when I touch it, like gratitude. So that's why it's important to me. Is it a lucky charm? Maybe not exactly.
interesting. That's interesting, though. Like because so I have these rings have been on this finger for darn near 30 years.
Okay.
The same ones.
Yep. Me too.
The same ones, and I consider that, like, there are very few things that I'm attached to in any kind of a way like that, but these would be one of them. Like, I would feel very strange without them.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see where, just because it is a reminder of something, right? It's a reminder of, and for me, it's a reminder of a lot of things. A reminder of actually a stroke of luck. Like, I mean, my husband literally lived across the hall from me for 2 years before we got together, but it signaled a massive shift in my life. Like, it created a massive shift in my life, meeting him. And, like, I don't know what I would be or who I would be sitting here. Like, I certainly probably wouldn't be sitting here if it hadn't been for him. So, so there's a lot. So it is a reminder of gratitude and things to be grateful for. Right. So, and it's really interesting because I was reading about Lucky Charms, and I love to hear your take on this. Like, does this resonate with you? The idea that people who have lucky charms tend to be more lucky because they believe the charm will protect them from bad luck. So,
self-fulfilling.
So right, is that so? It's self-fulfilling.
I think so,
and
I think they're putting the intention out there. I'm putting this intention of having good luck out there, and what do you know? Good luck comes to me. Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the whole manifestation?
Right, and isn't that like the law of attraction, right? And
that
so,
is the law of attraction.
I would also say that creates a form, and here's a plug for next week, that creates a form of an energetic boundary, right? Like I have that. I think there's a downside to it, but I think that does create a form of an energetic boundary. So just PS, next week, that's our whole subject, is we're going to be talking about affirmations and boundaries and creating the life you want, through energy and manifesting. But do you think that a person can become too reliant on a lucky charm?
So if all of their belief that it is the thing itself, then I think that's kind of missing the point. And so, right, if the lucky charm is the rabbit's foot, then if you lose the rabbit's foot, oh my God, everything falls apart, right? But if it's your way of putting out there that you want to be lucky, that's a different vibe, I think. I don't think if you believe in the thing itself, I think that's not. I don't think that works.
Yeah, isn't that so? I wonder about that. And P.S. I don't find it very lucky for the rabbit. Just thought I'd put that out there.
Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah, it's like the joke about all the frogs in little wheelchairs, because the frog legs are on the menu. It's just like a little.
I've seen that
whatever.
Cartoon. That's a
Anyway, yeah. So I mean, so I wonder is your bracelet, is my ring a lucky charm, or is it just more of a reminder where, and I really wonder, like, the truth of the matter is, I'm not entirely sure I believe in the power of a lucky charm, right?
Right. That's like thinking the tarot cards are
telling the story.
No, it's the intuition, spirit talking through you. The cards are just paper, right?
Right. The cards are the bridge to your intuition.
Right.
Right.
And maybe the lucky charm is the bridge,
Oh, maybe.
That's interesting.
And I mean, the older I get, the closer I get to live and let live, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
okay, I'm open to the idea that what works for you doesn't necessarily
Right.
work for me, or vice versa.
Right. As long as it
You
resonates with
know,
you.
exactly right. So does it resonate? So I wonder, the people who are watching, throw in the comments, uh, do you have a lucky charm? What is it? What happens if you lose it? I'd love to hear answers to all those questions. Like,
That reminds me, we talked about spells a while back, and I said the way spells work is because they're in the kind of the imprint, right? The imprint of the field.
mhm.
Maybe your lucky charms are the same thing. Maybe it's a
could
simple version of a spell.
Could be because, if you think about it, Lucky Charms tend to be similar.
Mhm.
It's my lucky penny or my lucky. What about this? What about this one gets me? If I don't wear my lucky shirt, my team is going to lose. Like,
Jeez.
I,
Wow.
yeah,
Right. And there's
like,
the whole thing about the curse um, of the Cubs, right?
oh no, it's broken. Like, it's
I
all
know.
good. It's all good
It's
now.
all
It's
good
all
now,
good
but
now.
that whole mythology, that whole history of the curse.
And did so many people believe in that curse, no matter how good that team was? Did so many people that
Yeah.
believe in that curse that the Cubs were never going to win? I don't know. Maybe it's
Right.
possible.
Right. What are these imprints in the universe, right?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, we'll have all the answers, but we won't be here to discuss
we'll,
them.
we'll come
Right.
back. We'll come back and tell you the next medium.
Right, there you go. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Lucky Charms, there's a lot of them. A lot of people have a lot of different things.
What were
And
your
then sometimes signs come in the form of Lucky Charms, right? Pennies and things like that, and
Mhm.
feathers.
Oh yeah, that's right. My kid has a lucky number. So every time he sees 19, he gets really excited about something.
Oh, that's really interesting that like an out there number, right? Like not
Right.
a usual number.
Not a
Like
usual one.
most people, I mean, if you ask almost anyone what is their lucky number, they say 7,
7. Yep.
right? My lucky number is not 7, it's 11.
Hmm.
And I
Mine's
love
22.
11.
Mine's
11
22.
is my most favorite number on the planet, probably because it's my birthday, but
Hmm.
like
Mine should be a 13 because that's my birthday. But
oh, see, but 13. So now that we're talking about numbers, because I did a little research on the numbers too, and they said a lot of times lucky numbers are associated with prime numbers. And
mhm.
guess what is a prime number?
13,
13,
right?
right?
19 is too, as it turns out. So is
Yeah.
11 actually.
Yeah, yeah, right. So,
And my lucky number is 22, and that's just 11 times 2. So
well, there you go. And actually 22 is 1111, right? If you
mhm.
look at it like that, like it's 1111,
Yep.
which seems to be a very powerful lucky number for a lot of people.
Well, I know. I mean, I even saw someone with a T-shirt on that said it had the time 11:11, make a wish. 11:11, make a wish. Like, and apparently that's a thing.
So, well, it's really interesting when my husband is a different kind of a cat. Like he's just different. And when he watches the credits on shows, when the names go by, he doesn't actually see the names. He sees that as some sort of a transmission. So he actually sees 1111 as a transmission, which if you think about it, 1111 binary is all ones and twos,
Yep.
right?
Ones and zeros.
So yeah, ones and zeros. I like twos, but it's all ones and
That'd be a
zeros.
ternary system.
Yeah, right. So binary is all ones and zeros. So 1111 could very well be some kind of a binary. And, you just don't know, like, how far into the matrix are we really? Right. Like, and that's a conversation for another day and a different topic. But,
For sure.
we want to stick with the luck. But, there's a lot of people that think, oh, I'm seeing 1111, 1111, 1111. I'm going to be lucky. I'm going to be lucky. I kind of every now and then think, maybe you're just looking at the clock the same time every day.
How? But I can't even tell. I can't even tell when the next 5 minutes has lapsed. How would I know to look at the clock? Right? I can't even get up on the same
Muscle
time every
memory.
time. Maybe. Do you have four-leaf clover?
Oh yeah, four-leaf clover. I do. I do look for them too. Do you look for them in the
I
yard,
I
in the
have
grass?
I have only found one once. In fact, I thought they were fake until someone actually showed me one. When I was in
Yeah.
elementary school, we'd sit on the grass and people would say, "I'm going to find a four-leaf clover." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure you will." And then someone showed me one. I'm like, "What? Those are real?"
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
I found one some years ago and I saved it for a very long time until it became a three-leaf and then a two-leaf and then a one-leaf clover. You know,
And now you've
got
got a
kind of
stem.
dry and that was the end of that. But I did you know that each of the leaves in a four-leaf clover have a different meaning? So they mean faith, hope, love, and luck. So
Cool.
four-leaf clover is a symbol of faith, hope, love, and luck. Or
Huh.
if you believe the story about Eve, Adam and Eve, when they were banished from Eden, Eve took a four-leaf clover with her as a reminder of, paradise. So they say that if you have a four-leaf clover with you, you actually have a piece of paradise. I can access paradise easy,
Right.
right? I don't need
You
the
just go
four-leaf
there.
clover for that, right? Like I mean, I go to Valhalla, I go to Atlantis, I can certainly go to paradise, like I'm good at that. It's what I do. So,
Right.
but there's something very attractive to me about a four-leaf clover. I think if I was, and I guess because they're so rare,
Yep.
I don't know that I believe they're lucky necessarily, but I would revere it if I found it because it's so rare.
I was in a mediumship class and people were talking about after one of their either spouse or very close, either spouse or parent died. And I forgot who it was, but she was saying she went outside after I think it was her spouse died, and in the backyard, and literally found 5 four-leaf clovers within a couple minutes. And it was just like,
Wow.
there it is. There's that message that I'm looking for from my loved one.
And I believe
Yeah,
that. I
I do
believe
too.
that. I believe it so much. And it's fun, like a lot of people say lucky penny. Maybe I told you this. I have a friend who whenever she was looking for a sign from her father who had passed, she would find a pile of change, not a penny, but a little pile, a little
Right,
pile of change
right.
somewhere.
Just to make the point extremely clear.
Right. So, we only have our idea of how people on the other side interact with this world is limited by the human construct that is the ego and the brain, right?
Mhm.
Like, we don't know what they're capable of
Right.
as far as it comes to that. I mean, but I also believe that when you release the human construct or the human confine, um, you're 100% light, you're 100% benevolent, you're
Mm,
100%,
right.
love, right?
Yes.
So
The purest essence.
I actually believe that things that appear to be, evil and hauntings are manifestations of what happens on earth rather
Mm,
than what happens. I believe there are no troubled souls. I believe there are troubled humans.
right.
You
So
know,
the
so
ghosts that you
so
see are not out to get you. They
yeah,
just are.
I never believe that they are,
Right. I would agree
like
with that.
they're
Yep.
around all the time because especially now they seem to be getting closer to me and able to come through in sessions and things like that.
Cool.
Um, so I'm like, all right, well, you just got to go when you're done, and I'm happy with that. But I just want to make sure that,
Well, some
as
ground
we
rules.
talk about the idea of loved ones being able to manipulate, and I believe they can make four-leaf clovers grow, right? Like I
Hmm.
believe they can
Or
find a
make you
pile of
find them where
coins
they
and
are.
put right, point them out to you
Yep.
perhaps. Because the truth is, I mean, you could have a yard full of four-leaf clovers and never find
Never
one.
seen one. Yep. And then suddenly Spirit says, "Here they
So
are," and there's another one there.
yeah,
And
here they are all here.
yep.
So I just don't want anybody to think that we're saying that they have so much power that they could you know fall in the other direction.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Although
but
that little funny phrase, "If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all." I think that's kind of
self-fulfilling, right?
self-fulfilling, right? If you think you have bad luck, right? I know a guy who just was convinced he was accident prone, and sure enough, he would have the craziest accidents He'd trip on a rug and not just fall down. He'd trip on a rug and then sprain his ankle. Like, again? Come on, Keith. Right? So if you believe you're unlucky, or if you believe you're accident prone, guess what happens?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I hear people that say stuff like that. And I suppose, there was a time when I was younger that I would say things like, what? Who was I? Like Lucretia Borgia or something in a past life? Like things just seem to really, pile on. And as my circumstances had more ease in them,
Mm-hmm.
I had more ease, and I started attracting those things less and less.
Yep.
So
me
there
too.
is I think there is a frequency that kind of draws those things in, kind of a magnetic pull. But you hear people say that if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. I think they bring, I don't want to say they bring it on themselves, but I think they create
An attraction.
an attraction for things to seem that way. But then what about the other side of that? Like good luck. I've never considered myself particularly lucky, like when it comes to, so for example, I know somebody, it's somebody close to me, not my husband, but that over the years has been pretty good for, like $500 on a lottery ticket, 1,000, 10,000, like kind of relatively regularly,
Mm-hmm.
or when I would go to a casino with this person, they'd come out ahead, and I generally would come out, which I consider to be winning. I would come out even, or,
Yeah.
$100 one way or the other, which I consider winning,
Yep.
when you're in Reno or whatever. But they would always come home with, 500, 1,000 or whatever. And like, why is this person so much luckier than I am?
That's so interesting.
Right? Like,
yep. So I'm going to look something up real quick. The Silva mind control.
Oh, the Silva method.
Yes. The daughter. Okay, so it's Jose Silva, and it was either his wife or his daughter who, because they were kind of studying this with him, became luckier and luckier, and she like won the lottery like big time several times in a row. And I would love to go research that story and talk about it again in another episode. But the point is that because they were working on meditation and working on this whole manifesting thing, they were able to become super lucky. And it's amazing story.
So what happened? Like, and obviously we're not going to spend a lot of time on it today. And I agree. Let's research that and talk about that, because I'm pretty sure I still see ads for the Silva method. It's still available today, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
So what's happening there? Are they getting luckier, or are they removing blocks and restrictions?
I think they're removing blocks and restrictions, and they're tapping into spirit. They're tapping. Right. They're just tapping into. Again, it's the whole thing about manifesting.
Right, manifesting in the law of attraction. Are they making themselves more attractive to, right? So okay, so as you're. Never mind. When it looks like I'm talking to somebody in my head, it's because I actually am.
Right. And that's my favorite thing about you, Angie.
So the idea, wow. So if you manifest by creating, so manifesting is figuring out what you want and then matching your vibration to meet it, right? It comes together. So, for them, maybe their deepest desire was money, and that was a way to get it.
Or maybe I don't believe one of many things they were, raising their vibration towards.
Right, exactly. Now, is that to say everybody can shift their vibration to win the lottery? I don't think so. And certainly a psychic cannot give you the lottery numbers. Like, that's just not
right.
That, if they tell you that they can for, 10%, go for it. It couldn't hurt, like on a contingency basis, right? But If they
I never
could,
heard
you
of that.
know,
That's
well,
that,
I'm sure it wouldn't, right? I'm sure they wouldn't. If those of us who are psychic could get those lottery numbers, we'd all be the winners, right? Like,
right. Right.
period.
Psychics would, yeah, yeah. It's just
But
not how it works.
I wonder if, let's say, one of them, their deepest desire wasn't to money, like, you know, that form of abundance, but some other form of abundance. What?
Mhm.
An abundance of friends, or an abundance of education, or abundance of what other kind of
Just
abundance?
happiness in your life, right?
Right. So I wonder if their, whatever their deepest desire was different, would they necessarily be luckier, or would they be getting more of whatever it is? Do you see where I'm going
Yeah,
with that?
right,
Like their
right. What
deepest.
if they were not trying to manifest money, but trying to manifest something else? Would that have come instead of money, or does it
Right.
all kind of come at the same time?
Exactly. You
Yeah,
know, because the truth is, if you're trying to manifest happiness, manifesting money is not necessarily the way to get to it, right?
right. I would
In
agree with
fact, is
that
very
100%.
often
Quite the opposite.
counter to
Yeah.
happiness, right? Um, and then on top of it, you know, oh, I want to manifest freedom. I want to manifest freedom. I want to manifest an easy life. Well, you don't necessarily do that by winning a big lot amount in the lottery, right? Like, that's not really lucky, because managing, you know, we've had some big lottery jackpots. You know,
Yeah, in
do you
Illinois.
have Powerball and Mega Millions in
Yeah,
where you
I'm
are?
not sure which ones we have, but I've seen.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a couple that were in the billion range, like, you know, that really got up in the
Yep.
billion range. And I want to say you probably walk out with 750 or 700 million or something, and maybe even a little less than that.
Right after
You
taxes.
know, if you take it right, if you take lump sum. But let's say it's a billion and you walk out with $500 million. People who work in brokerage firms have accounts that it's a full-time job to manage $500 million.
Right. Yep.
So if you think that you're going to just sit back and relax and take it easy because you won this big lottery, that's not going to happen. Or you're going to be sitting back and relaxing for not very long because your money's going to disappear.
Mhm.
So is that luck, or is that,
Well,
you
you're
know?
you're in the money field. You know people that can't handle a small sum of money.
Yeah,
Certainly
lots of
can't
people.
certainly can't handle a large sum of money either.
Right. And then you know, you have to have well, let's just call it what, cojones, to stand up to the people who show up out of the woodwork, you know, with their hand open, right? Like,
Yeah. Yep.
if you hit the lottery. I don't know. I mean, would I like to win the lottery? Sure. You know, I've given a lot of thought to what I would do with it and how many people I could help with it and how fun it
Yeah.
would be to, you know, show up at somebody, you know, show up for somebody and say, here you go, this is your house. Like,
Mm.
I would love that. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
but you know, I think we all have more work to do on our egos and our minds before we can
Mhm.
really manifest that way. So how much does luck play into it? You know, like, it's my lucky day, or what does your lucky number do for you, or what does your lucky charm? You know, like, what is good luck?
Mm. Mhm.
What, you know, does everybody have a different idea of what luck brings to them? You know, like, I consider myself lucky I met my husband. I consider myself lucky I met you. I consider myself lucky that I met the Mooniverse. In case you're listening, Mooney. um, he listened last week. So,
Awesome.
um,
What about?
so, right? Like, what is it? What is luck? What does it bring?
Yeah. For me, I think it's it's just when I get something unexpected, like I win something, that feels lucky, right?
Right.
I won something twice in the last 2 weeks. I won a $25 gift card and I won a rain barrel. And you know, we went to see an event and anyway, long story short, we won 2 weeks in a row. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. That feels good.
Yeah,
That's lucky.
that it does. So, you know, so that's lucky.
Mhm.
Like, but you had to go to this event, and you probably had to either buy a raffle ticket or drop
You
your
had to
name in a
fill in. Yep.
bucket or
Yep.
something,
You
right?
had to fill in a form, fill in a sheet. Yep.
So no matter what, it still took action.
Right. So that's the key. And
right?
I think it's Deepak Chopra that says you make your own luck. Right.
Right. I mean, because even the lottery, you can't win if you don't buy a ticket. It doesn't matter how lucky you are. If you don't buy the ticket, you aren't winning. Like,
Right.
it just isn't happening. So, and it's funny because I participated. This is a guy I'm really hoping to get as a guest one of these days. His name is John Mothershead. He's a really great angel expert.
Yep.
So we could have great conversation with him about angels and archangels and kind of what he does. It's amazing.
Cool.
But we did, in one of his groups, we did a luck exercise where, folded dollars into hearts, that 4 of them that made a 4-leaf clover out of dollars.
Okay. Yep.
And as soon as I did that, the next day, a $30 check showed up from a Facebook settlement in my mail. And I thought, well, that's lucky, right? But if I hadn't been on Facebook and signed up for that lawsuit, I, probably wouldn't have gotten that $30. But I still thought it was lucky.
Yes.
That it showed up that day. So,
and if you hadn't been doing the luck exercise,
who knows? It might have got lost in the mail, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. There's so many ways to look at it, but I think that luck itself is amazing, but I think the idea of bad luck is so detrimental to people and society that I would love to figure out how could we give people some of that power back. How could we? So I actually, now that we're talking about that, we still have some more luck things to talk about here, but because I want to talk about the luck of the Irish too a little bit.
Yeah.
But while we're at it, and I know we're in the middle of the show, and I don't know when we said we were going to do it, but I think we should talk about that exercise that we were talking about.
Okay, sure.
Because this really plays into the idea of luck. It's Pam Grout from a book called E Squared, which is a great book, and it's about how we all, interact with the universe and how we can get what we want from the universe. So we decided to go with just the first exercise in the book, which I think is a great one, and I've done it a few times. So I'm going to let you tell everybody about it, and then I'll tell you what my very first experience with it was.
Okay.
And then we're going to invite everybody that listens to try it for themselves and then get back to us. And we'll probably do a live stream asking you how you did, and then we'll give away a little prize or something, on that idea. Live stream. Right?
Okay. All right. So the book is organized with, I think it's 15 different experiments, and they're experiments of you essentially manifesting, right? Putting the intention out there and receiving something back from the universe. So the experiment number 1, she calls it the dude abides principle. So basically what this experiment will prove to you once and for all that there is a loving, abundant, totally hip force in the universe. So essentially, you are going to be asking the universe to give you irrefutable proof, right? Let me see, where does she say that? As you basically ask for a sign. You're going to ask for a sign from the universe, and within 48 hours, you will receive something that lets you know, got your message, here you go.
Right. So you ask for a sign, you choose the time, and you tell the universe, I'd love to hear that you're listening. Show me that you're listening. And you have 48 hours to do it. So you are in charge, right? Like, you're the one setting the time limit, the 48 hours. And so I did it the very first time I did it. And I got like darn near the end of 48 hours. And I was like, well, nothing happened. Great. So it listens to everybody else but me. But within those 48 hours, I got an email from Best Buy. Do you have Best Buy?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got Best Buy, right?
Yeah.
So I got an email from Best Buy, and on this email, it was, print this out. It's your surprise coupon. Okay. So I printed it out. It just had a barcode on it. You had to go to the store to see how much it was. And then my printer broke. And I was like, oh, well, so great. You're really listening. The printer broke. Like, thanks. That's not what I had in mind, but great. So I got the email and the printer broke within the 48 hours. The next day, so it was technically, after the 48 hours. But remember, I printed out the email. I took that. I needed a new printer. Got to have a printer. So I took that coupon to Best Buy. And I went up to the cashier and I said, can you scan this and tell me how much it's for? I said, and it would be really great if it was enough to buy a new printer. And he looked at me like, yeah, okay, whatever. He says, I said, why? He said, well, usually they're like $5. So he scanned it and he got this kind of look on his face, like, and I was like, what? He goes, it's $100. And the printer I picked out was $99. So
that's awesome.
So literally I got the sign within that 48 hours, and I've done it again, and it always works. But the thing is, you have to be aware and willing to recognize the sign when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
It might show up as money in the mail, but it could show up that you find $1 on the floor.
Right.
Or it might show up that somebody that owed you money shows up and repays you. Or maybe somebody sends you a book in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Could be that somebody calls you up and says, let me take you out for lunch. Like, you have to be willing.
Right. Right. How broad
to accept it however it comes.
Exactly.
Right. Like, to accept it however it comes. So with that said, remember, this is how it goes. And in the comments, we'll go in after the show releases. We'll go in and put in the comments, we'll reference the book and we'll remind you again exactly how it is. But basically, really, it's as simple as this. Universe, show me you're listening. I would love to see a sign that lets me know you're listening. And I'm going to give you 48 hours to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, before the next show, we'll do a live stream. And if anybody has had any luck, you'll make a comment and we'll give you a prize. Maybe we'll, I don't know, we'll come up with a prize. Maybe we'll send out a copy of E Squared.
That's a good idea.
Right? We could send out a copy of E Squared
because we could just
story. Drop ship it from Amazon.
Let me tell you my story about doing one of these experiments. So I was doing a different one, but very similar. And here's what happened. So I did my daily card draw, and it was the Ten of Swords, which is not a great card, but I'm reading in the book that comes with the deck. Actually, with this deck right here, the Light Seers Tarot. So I'm reading in the book, and it says, your dark night of the soul will be met with a beautiful new dawn that is filled with more light than you've ever experienced. Watching the sun peek over the horizon is the highest task of a bruised heart. And while I'm reading that, our cloudy Michigan sky opens up with a bright sunline that shines right in my face for 5 seconds and disappears.
See that? See that? Now,
while I'm reading it and I'm looking like right out to my windows.
That is amazing. And so that is an example of the kind of abundance that's available to you.
Right.
If you open your focus, right? And stop thinking about abundance just as money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
But it was while I'm reading about the sunlight that's going to shine on your face, the light shines.
Amazing. That is amazing. And right? Like, it's not just about money. It's about people, and it's about experiences, and it's about circumstances and joy and situations, and abundance is so much more. Like, abundance would be a really good topic for a show, actually, now that I think about it. What is it? How do you get it? So we'll work on that. We'll do some research and bring that out for you. Now, and it's actually a little late, but that's okay. It is time for the shameless plug.
Woohoo!
So my shameless plug is this: on the 19th, so 2 days after the show airs, I still have seats available in my meditation, the train meditation, to meet your guides, teachers, and angels. So this is a journey visualization. It's a ride that you can take with the conductor himself, to meet and connect with some, probably not all, one guide, teacher, angel, guardian angel, archangel, just those on the other side that you work with regularly, your guidance team. So that's for me. You can find that on my Facebook page, which is now called Angie ZXUH. That's me. So it's easy to find. Just look up my name and sign up. I'll be happy to. I'd love to see you. Okay, that's me, my shameless plug.
Fantastic. All right, my shameless plug for the week is on March 21. That's a Tuesday. I'm doing another tarot Zoom party. I do these monthly. So that's the one that's coming up this month. It'll be, let's see, 4:30 Eastern time. And there is a Facebook event. You have to go to the Tarot Geek group and join the group. And then you'll have the information for getting to the Zoom party.
Well, there you go.
And it's for readers. If you're a reader, we do a round robin readings. So if you do, and even if you're just vaguely interested in tarot, we have, all levels.
Excellent. And it is fun. I've been.
Yes.
So it is fun.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, me too. I used to do a live oracle exchange in my space.
Oh, cool.
And have people come and, set up little tables, and we would do the same thing, round robins.
Oh, wow.
Read for each other and then switch around. I love to work live. I love to work live. COVID kind of killed that for all of us.
I know. And we all went to Zoom.
It's really interesting, though, because in the idea of abundance and listening to the universe, the building I'm in, where my physical space is, I'm on my third unit in the building. I started out in a medium-sized one. I moved to a large-sized one. And then after that, I moved to a small one. So now my original space, the medium-sized one, has opened back up and is available. And I believe I'm going to take it back so that I can start doing some live stuff. So if you listen from the area, which is Northern Illinois, keep your eyes peeled on my page for live, because there's nothing like the crystal meditations that are live and you're in the room. Like, there's just nothing like them. So, I mean, it's great on Zoom. I do a lot of great things on Zoom, but there's nothing like being in the room with all that energy, right there with you.
Yep. I did a live tarot reading event this past weekend.
Oh, it's so fun, right?
They are just the best. It was a celebration for a fitness studio that was celebrating their 5-year anniversary, and so that whole room was just full of health and wellness, joy, and vibe. A really, really good vibe, and a number.
Amazing!
It was really cool.
Seriously, that is amazing. All right. Well, that's it for the shameless plugs.
Yep. I wonder if we should, let's see, what do we have left from the show today?
Well, I really want to talk about the luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish. Yep. Let's do that.
So, it's really interesting, because you hear the luck of the Irish, and my whole life have always considered the Irish just to be lucky people. Like, I never knew until I did the research for the show that the term was coined during the gold rush here, and the luck of the Irish was actually derisive, because what they were kind of saying, it seemed as though many of the people who hit it big in the gold rush were Irish. And then I can't use that word. The people can't use that word. Those that were not Irish, we'll just leave it at that. Those people back in that time of, time, actually said basically the luck of the Irish was a shot at them, they're certainly not smart enough to make this, it must just be luck. But what's interesting to me about that is not that it had that negative connotation when it first came out, but that the Irish people are so proud and so believe so fully in themselves and in Ireland, they've actually turned the connotation of that phrase from negative to positive.
Right.
So now the
they owned
luck
it.
of the Irish, right? They owned it. The luck of the Irish is a real thing, you know. And if you have the luck of the Irish, which maybe is a little bit of a kiss of a leprechaun or something, right? That's really, really a good thing. It doesn't mean anything except you are a lucky person. So I wonder, is that you know, so there's the power of positive thinking, right? There's
sure.
that.
Yep.
But there's also the idea, and this is something I've channeled and been told over and over and over again, because people have so many ways at looking about, you know, what they can do to impact the world, right? Like, that I need to be an activist. I need to do this. I need to do that. The truth is that an example of you can spread the light by walking in it? So many of them believed that they were lucky because they were Irish, even though they struggled for centuries, that they took away the negative connotation to that statement and flipped it into a positive, just into the positive. Like, I really think that's an amazing way to look at it. And I believe it is the power of walking in the light, right?
Say that again. The power of the light is
that you spread the light by simply walking.
By walking in it. Okay.
Right. You spread the light by simply walking in it. In other words, you live your life in a way that's you live your life with light. You live your life with love, right? You don't go you don't go
it's spreading joy by
people
being
like exactly right. That's exactly right.
I love
so
that.
What it's like kindness, right? Like those random acts of kindness. To me, that is walking in the light. That's spreading the light. Do you have to do that? No, because if you don't have the money to pay for the, you know, the coffee behind you, smiling at the person who sells you the coffee,
a kind word is free and
exactly
does sometimes more than money.
Worth way more. I mean, what I love when I go through a drive-through for anything and I look up at somebody and I say, wow, you have a really nice day. Thank you so much. And they look at you and it takes them a second sometimes. Like it takes it a second to register, because people, you know, people out there are very
grumpy.
Yeah.
They're grumpy.
Grumpy is a good, easy word. That's a doable word, right? That's a doable word. So
without getting called out, right?
Right? Like, so yeah. So I think, and like I was telling you before the show, I'm reluctant to actually get on a plane and go to Ireland, because I'm truly afraid I would never want to come back, and I would be heartbroken.
Ireland
have to come back.
Ireland, Scotland, that is really high on my list of places.
Oh, me too. I mean, me too. I you know, well, I want to go sit in the middle of Stonehenge.
That's unreal.
I would like to.
It's real. It's really, really amazing. And when I visited Stonehenge, it was like 2 or 3 days after the summer solstice, and so
wow,
the place was just buzzing with, well, tourists for one, but still, it was a really cool vibe.
Yeah. See, and I, you know, I mean, because I'm all about the energy. So there's a few, what the heck, 5 minutes, luck. It's all good. I am really interested in connecting with the energy of certain places. Like when we talk about Scotland, I wonder what it would be like to walk through Culloden. Right? I wonder what it would be like to walk through, you know, some of those places that I wonder if the energy has righted itself after all these years, or if that stuff remains. And since we were talking about Scotland, you know, Nova Scotia, New Scotland, Oak Island. I want to go to Oak Island and I want to
Oh,
feel the
yeah.
energy on Oak Island. Like I
Yeah.
want, like I would consider myself so lucky to be able to go there, right? Like
Mhm.
so I'll keep it in the luck. But
Yeah, keep that in. Right.
you know, I think there's a lot. So, you know, one thing we didn't talk about when it comes to luck, do you think that lucky people are grateful people? Or grateful
I
people are lucky people?
I think gratitude is one of our highest callings. And I think if you are truly grateful, then luck will follow you.
Okay. And I believe that. I do believe that. But what about the really rotten people that get what appears to be lucky? Big things, whatever, money.
Well, like I said before, you don't get punished for your sins, you get punished by your sins.
Yeah.
And maybe what they're going to experience from that big win is pain.
Okay. I can see that. I can actually see that. Not only can I see that, I can live with that.
Well, so one of the big theological questions is, do you get your um, just desserts? Do you get your punishment or reward in this life or in the afterlife? That was always one of the big questions in and actually every religion tries to answer that. So that's, you know, that's taking it to a theological level. But from looking at things now, we go before we're born, we have a choice of experiences that we need to experience and things we need to learn while we're here. And then you return to this to the spiritual side, to the you know.
That's what you think. I think we choose it. I don't think we need to do it. I think we
Okay,
choose it.
I
We
think we
pick it.
so, but whether it's chosen or if it's something we need to learn, the point is
Well,
that
I believe it's about the energy we come here to experience. But I would just say this whole thing about lessons and learning lessons. And it was a class that I studied in some, you know, something that I studied where she said, I don't believe there's some consciousness, God, whatever, you know, whatever you want to use,
yep,
that's up there saying, okay, I'm going to send you to Earth and you're going to need to learn these lessons.
okay, right.
But wait,
It's
and by the way, I'm not going to tell you what those lessons are. So you're going to have to figure it out. And on top of that, I'm going to make it next to impossible to figure it out. I don't believe that.
I would
I
agree
don't
with that.
believe there's a benevolent consciousness on the other side that would do that on purpose. So I
Agreed.
believe that there's a list of energies we're here to experience, whether it's abundance or love or joy or you know, financial abundance, like a list of energies that we come here to experience. What are you here to experience? So let's say you're here to experience abundance. Maybe you experience lack. Lack is abundance. It's just the polarity of it, right? So you
and
decided you
or
want to experience it. So that's what I believe.
right.
You decide, you choose, and what you do on the other side sets you up for what you're going to do here,
I agree.
not the other way around.
I agree with that.
So
Yep.
I mean, that, you know, and so I mean, I guess at the end of the day, is luck a human construct?
I think it is. I think in its, you know, common form, you know, lucky rabbit's foot, lucky four-leaf clover. Yes, that's a human construct. What is it connecting to? Maybe a bigger concept, maybe a
Yeah.
more. But I think luck is a human construct.
Yeah.
Because it implies lack. Like if I have luck, then you don't, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. And if that's how you're looking at the world of a zero-sum game, that's not abundance. That's scarcity mindset.
Yeah, right. And I think that scarcity is actually different than lack.
Okay. But they're related.
they're related, but I think that scarcity is more dangerous than lack, because our scarcity mindset is more dangerous, because that means I'm going to hoard everything for myself. Where somebody who's experiencing lack, and they may be doing that just by saying things like, well, I just want enough to get by. Right.
Right.
You know,
And
like
the universe says, okay, you asked for it.
You asked for it, right? But the scarcity thing to me is more dangerous, because scarcity says I need to bring everything in and keep it all for myself. Right. So to me, the scarcity
you can't have any.
Right. And you can't have any. And that is rampant in the spiritual entrepreneur world. It's rampant.
Interesting.
Not everybody is like that. You know, I believe in collaboration.
Right. Oh yeah.
There's enough for me. There's enough for you. There's enough for everybody, because not everybody resonates with everybody. Right. Like, you know, like we've had that conversation about who I want to work with, who I want to be, where you want to, you know what I mean? But there's so much, you know, like I've been in crystal shops where the owners are like, oh, well, you know, if you work here, you can't talk to anybody anywhere else. You can't do it. You know, you got everything got to come through here.
Real proprietary.
Right. And to me, that's a scarcity mindset rather than a lack mindset. Right. Like to me, scarcity, they're saying, well, if this person succeeds, they're going to take something away from me. So I need to make sure they don't succeed. And that's kind of, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway,
goes on in employment conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it, but we've blown through almost the whole hour again.
All right.
So we've actually gotten to most everything we wanted to talk about luck. I think we came up with some great ideas about luck. I think I'd love to hear from you listeners in the comments. You know, if you have any thoughts, or how do you feel lucky? Do you feel unlucky? Is there something you could do to change that for yourself? Do you have a lucky charm?
Dirty Harry. Do you feel lucky?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a good one, right? Anyway, and then try our exercise. Give the universe 48 hours to show you it's listening, and let us know how that comes out, because I'm really curious. I think that, you know, I think that one kind of works even if you don't necessarily believe it will.
Right.
I really do. I really think that one kind of does. So we were planning at the end of this show to actually review this deck, the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron-Reid. This one is published by Hay House, I'm sure.
It is. Yep.
So Colette Baron-Reid, Oracle of the Seven Energies, published by Hay House. We were going to do a review, but we don't have a lot of time left in our hour, and we're very likely going to go over a minute or two anyway without the review. But we are going to draw cards from the deck. So, and we'll push this review to another show, probably next week. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe we just need to do an episode on reviewing decks.
Oh, that'd be cool. Right.
It would be kind of fun, you know, just all readings, and, you know.
I like that. That's a great idea.
Or maybe we do live stream reviews of decks. Anyway, moving on. Let's pull cards. So this is the Oracle of the Seven Energies. So what is the energy for the week?
All right.
That's what I'm going to ask.
You can't make this stuff up. I pulled card seriously. I pulled card 43. It's the Spirit of Gratitude.
Oh my.
And I think that was a huge part of our conversation today. So let me just read one line from here. A power greater than us acts on our behalf and is activated through us, suffusing our hearts and minds with a faith that is affirming, loving, and compassionate. And she goes on to say that expressing gratitude and asking to be of service is the most powerful, prospering prayer of all.
Wow. And I pulled number 26, and that's Great Big Love. And I flipped the book directly to the page. Like, And this is about, love, right? Love heals all wounds. So I think this speaks to the idea that love can put us in a vibrational state that where we can better manifest and be lucky, right?
Yeah.
Love heals all wounds. It begins all life. It sustains you when you are starving for grace, when you stumble and fall, and when you lose sight of your purpose and fall prey to the limited perspective of the ego. Now is the time to fall in love and call in the awareness of the great big love that made you, which is ever pulsing through your veins, which, if you look at that paragraph, is exactly what we've invited you to do by giving the universe 48 hours to show up and show you that it's listening.
Give you a sign. Yep.
So I think that is an amazing way to end the show. I do have a little bit of an Irish blessing that I would love to read for everybody, right before we go. But I want to say thank you to all for listening. This show, Does It Resonate With You, is so much fun to do. John, I so enjoy being here with you. This is a piece of gratitude that I connect to often.
Yeah, me too.
So, and I'm just going to leave you all with this thought. May your day be touched by a bit of Irish luck, brightened by a song in your heart, and warmed by the smiles of people you love. So just put that all together, right? That gratitude, the great big love, the card, the blessing, it's all you cannot make this stuff up. This is Does It Resonate With You? We love you guys so much for listening. We thank you. And don't forget to click subscribe if you haven't already. All right.
See ya.